Hello, Steve White, Steve White 89. Well, we've got a little bit more news out of San Diego Comic-Con, and it's about William Shatner again. He's going to be appearing in Masters Universe Revolution, which is the sequel to Revelation, which was supposed to be the sequel to the Filmation series, but they lied. Now, I'm very skeptical about this. I mean, with Revelation, once you got past the fact that they lied about it being a continuation of the Filmation series, which they did lie, if you just watched it on its own as a spin-off series starring Teela, which is what it wasn't really bad, and it did kind of fit in with the Filmation series, even though it wasn't an actual continuation because they didn't have the rights to the Filmation series. But the real thing that ruined it was the fact that they had Buffy in it. Sarah Michelle Gellar was voicing Teela, and she didn't even try to do a vocal performance and actually sound like Teela or give a performance of Teela. She was just being Buffy. So just having Buffy in He-Man just ruined it. It was just impossible to hear anything other than Buffy in He-Man, and it just really hurt it. If they'd had another voice actress, or if Sarah Michelle Gellar was capable of doing a performance where she didn't sound exactly like Buffy, it could have actually been interesting. It could have worked. So William Shatner, Captain Kirk in He-Man, it's going to work about as well, because he's just too identifiable. Unless he can manage to do some brilliant performance, I don't believe he's going to pull this off. Now, the article I was reading was in CBR, and they do remind us that he did appear in the Batman animated sequel to the 1960s series, starring as Harvey Dent and Two-Face, which was done in 2017 with the vocal cast of like Adam West and but they did 2 of those movies, and he was in the second one. It was pretty good. I just don't see him pulling this off. I'm just going to hear Captain Kirk in He-Man. I don't think it's going to work. Now, there's no other information. There's no word on who else is appearing, and the article loses a bit of credibility because it actually refers to Revelation as the spiritual sequel to the 1983-85 series, picking up directly after the final episode of He-Man and the Masters Universe, which it didn't, and stating, well, it did ignore the events of the 1990s series, The New Adventures of He-Man, and focus on wrapping up the unsolved mysteries from the 80s series. So it kind of tried to do that, but not directly, because it couldn't, because it wasn't actually a licensed sequel to Filmation. But they do have a tagline, a synopsis for Revelution. It says it's an all-new story that brings the focus of He-Man versus Skeletor to He-Man versus Skeletor like you've never seen them before. It's technology versus magic as He-Man and the heroic warriors face the forces of Skeletor and a deadly threat to the planet in Masters Universe Revolution, the next epic chapter in the battle for Eternia. So yeah, the show itself wasn't awful once you just accepted it for what it was, but unfortunately they sold it as something else. They bait and switched the audience. It turned a lot of people off. The second part didn't do very well numbers-wise. The first did because people thought it was going to be the sequel to the Filmation series. Once they realised it wasn't, they didn't come back. So I don't know how they're going to pull this off, except for the fact that we know what it is now. They can't pull a bait and switch anymore. But how many people did they burn? I don't know. And I mean, who's going to be back? Is Buffy going to be back? Because Mark Hamill didn't do a great Skeletor. He sounded more like the Joker. So we had like the Joker and Buffy, and now what, we're going to have the Joker and Captain Kirk fighting Buffy? I mean, it's not going to work. They need to get people who are really great. You can't just stunt cast a show like this. You have to have real vocal talent that can actually create a character or recreate a character. Just having, William Shatner pop up and be William Shatner is going to work about as well as having Sarah Michelle Gellar pop up and be Buffy. And Mark Hamill will do the Joker because apparently he can only do one voice. I don't know. I'm feeling very cynical about this. So it's not really good news, not really bad news. It's just like more of the same. It's like, oh, we had Buffy last season, now we got Captain Kirk this season. Who are we going to get next season? I don't know. I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Thanks. Bye.